How you doing? No, really. How you doing? Okay, I'm talking about some welcome to the live. Of course, welcome. Welcome to the supposed to be scheduled for a later date, but people gonna be manipulative and try to put these, that's why I have to go back and just reschedule and all that stuff like that because people be changing it actually, which is real ridiculous. They need to stop doing stuff like that. YouTube, can y'all pull up on my game, please? YouTube, can y'all pull up on my game, please? Can y'all stop the evil doers from doing evil, please? Please let them be scheduled on the dates where they're supposed to come out. Can you please do that for me, YouTube? I love you. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about washing feet, okay? And I want to talk about this. My cousin used to be so manipulative and so she used to be so dang on evil towards me, not liking me and stuff like that. So one time I was talking to somebody or whatever, I guess my auntie now, they be trying to play matchmaker so much and it just don't be making no sense to me. And when they try to matchmake somebody with somebody or whatever, have you talk to somebody or whatever, they go behind your back and try to stop these people from talking to you or to cut you off and give you a good cutoff or a good reason why they have to cut you off, right? So I was talking to this person or whatever that my auntie wanted me to talk to or whatever. And I talked to this person, we having a good conversation and all this stuff like that on the phone and things like that. So my auntie, said something to the person. Well, I didn't want to talk to the person anyway because he was not my type, but he was all right though. Like I said, look, the person when he was just getting out of jail. I don't know what he was in jail for and stuff like that, and that kind of be funny when it comes to stuff like that. So. And I was like, anybody, just like I told these people, anybody who is connected to my family members, I do not want to talk to them because it's like they be trying to have the upper hand in everything and they be trying to control things, in my life, in that person's life, stuff like that. Oh, I gave you my niece, and ever since I gave you my niece, and this, and the third, you've been acting funny, all that stuff like that. They try to, turn, each other, us against each other, and all that stuff like that. And look, I don't have time for that. I don't want nobody that's connected to my family members because they can be very manipulative, and I just don't like it. But this particular person, my cousin used to, tell this person that I had stank feet, trying to tell the person everything negative about me and stuff like that so that person won't find no interest in me or whatever, which I didn't care because anybody that's attached to y'all, I don't want them. Just same thing I used to tell the other guy that I used to talk to. And it was just conversations and stuff like that, a situation that happened between me and a person and all that stuff like that. But I told the person, I said, look, if my auntie is paying you or anything like that, if she's paying you or anything like that to talk to me and stuff like that, just go ahead on and tell me. Whatever it is that my auntie wants you to do, just let me know what it is that my auntie got you doing because, look, I don't want to end up getting my heart broken because of something that I later find out, but I end up cutting the situation off because the person, I found out this person was gaslighting me. He could have possibly had a girlfriend. I don't know. I wasn't even trying to find out, but I know that my auntie, when we pulled up to my auntie apartment or whatever, she didn't want me to get out. She said that she was meeting him at the door and stuff like that. She wanted to talk to him. But I just wanted to look at him and roll my eyes at him because when I called him, he didn't answer his dang on phone. He didn't answer my text. The only thing I want to know is that he got home safely. And this person decided to ignore me, ignore the text and all that stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure that he got home safely. Now I know my auntie now be on some robbery things and stuff like that, send people up. But I never have been been no person like that to do stuff like that to people. Me, I have never been connected to a person get robbed or anything else. That's why I separate myself from people of what they think. Because some people, they do things like that and they make it seem like you are the reason for, somebody's downfall or the reason why they have gotten robbed or the reason why this, that, and the third is happening in those people's lives. No, is these people who you're conversing with. I don't know your next move. I don't know who you connected with. I don't even know what you do in your daily life. So why would you feel like I would do anything that was a negative to come against you in the worst way? That just don't make no sense to me. If I don't want it done to me, then why would I do it to somebody else? If I don't want it to be done to me, why would I want to do it to somebody else? And this is something that my family used to do. They have the boys in my family and some of their friends that do this stuff. They will rob the crap out of you. Or they would get somebody who people are not familiar with, their faces and all that stuff like that to rob them or whatever. Or they'll put on ski masks, one or the other, whatever. But they do things like this and the people be left thinking that the person who they talk to, and then it can go like this too. Because it been situations like this where somebody have talked to somebody or whatever, and then all of a sudden that person just stop playing the games of another person, stuff like that, and their girlfriends are in their feelings and stuff like that, and their girlfriends be the ones that get them robbed, and they be thinking that it was the new person who they just had a connection with. It be like that too, so y'all need to be careful out here, because them heifers, your wives or whatever it is, they be playing detective. When they find out what they find out, if they find out that you cheat, they go through extreme measures to get your behind messed up. And whoever it is that they feel like you in love with or have something to do with, they gonna try to mess their life up too. Because there was a lot of people that stepped in and tried to, call CPS, report to CPS, report to different people, report to police officers and things like that to come arrest me, to come put me in jail for CPS cases and all this stuff like that. But it never did happen, and I thank God for it, because these people knew that I was innocent, because the whole time they didn't know that I was being watched in the privacy of my own home. And sometimes that can be good when you're being watched, because these people can finally see the truth. But what if they didn't, couldn't see all that stuff like that and see that these people was lying? I would have been locked up. See, some people wanted me to be in jail. They wanted me to be in jail because they knew I didn't have nobody. They knew I couldn't call out to nobody to get out of jail, so they thought that they was gonna be playing with court dates and stuff like that. Seeing me wait on my court date, and when my court date come, people play with my court date, because that's what they were doing when I was in jail in Bessemer. They was playing on my court dates. Whenever it was time for me to go to court, I'd be just sitting there trying to wait on them to call my name, and they never called my name. And when they never called my name, I go up there and I talk to them. I said, I was scheduled to go to court today, and they didn't call me. And they'd be like, okay, so let me go and check and see what happened, because if you're supposed to be at court today, that can be a failure to appeal. How can it be a failure to appeal when it said on paper that I was incarcerated, I was in jail? So I cannot have no failure to appeal if I'm in jail and y'all didn't come and get me. That don't make no sense. But they kept playing with my court dates and stuff like that while I was in jail and stuff like that. I know these people was behind it. My kids' dad and my family members and stuff like that. This is what people wanted from me. Just like I said, while I was locked up, these people were taking everything out of my apartment, taking my furniture, taking my they was taking my dishes. I walked in on my sister taking my dishes out of my cabinet, taking everything out of my kitchen and stuff like that when I was living in Marks Village. That's why I said they had to be tied to those cameras being put inside of my apartment. Because when I said something, my sister, she all of a sudden ghosted me. But just like I said, they was playing in my court dates and stuff like that. But I walked in with my sister taking my cups and stuff out of the cabinets and things like that. I'm like, what you doing? She was like, oh, I thought you was gonna be in there because we heard from the lawyer said that said we heard from the Bell's mom, and the Bell's mom said you're gonna be in there for like 5 to 10. 5 to 10 for what? Ain't nobody finna stick nothing on me. 5 to 10 for what? Because I ain't have anything. I ain't even know this MF had anything on him. And I continue to say that. That person lied to me dramatically. He lied to me like he done dropped stuff and all this stuff like that. Because I know what he do and stuff like that. But see, that ain't have nothing to do with me. But still, though, I ain't even asked for the information. He just told me. I dropped everything, when I was jumping across the gate and my hand went through the gate and things like that. I dropped everything, So in my mind, I'm thinking that, you don't have anything on you. Of course, you wouldn't have anything on you. If you got some people that's looking for you, if you got the police looking for you and stuff like that, ready to kick your dang on door in, why don't you have something that's in there that could further put you in dang on jail or add more sentence to your whatever you got going on, Why would you want to be caught with something like that? Stupid. But see, some people just dumb like that. Some people just dumb like that. But that, in my mind, I wouldn't think that nobody have nothing on them that'll put them. I just felt like I was set up. I'm just gonna be honest. I felt like I was set up because these people, when I got up out of the bed and stuff like that, that's when I seen like some drugs on the table and stuff like that. And these people, they try to make it seem like I was on drugs or something like that, or I had been snorting cocaine. So you know what I offered these people to get some hair follicles, some skin, and I offered them to do tests under my fingernails, urine, blood. I offer these people everything that could possibly clear my name when it comes to what it was the day it's supposed to be found. But just like I said, I just felt like I was set up, because I was closed up in a room, and I ain't know nothing about no dang on drugs or anything else, but they try to put that on me. And I'm like, before I even laid down or whatever, wasn't nothing in the room. So what is going on? I just felt like they was trying to set me up on that. People were trying to set me up, and they almost did. They almost did it or whatever, because just like I said, when I started reaching out and stuff like that, trying to find out about, because they didn't even tell me what they was locking me up for. I went to jail not knowing what I was being charged for. They put me in, well, when they kicked in the door and stuff like that, I was laying in the bed and stuff like that. The man asked me not to move, whatever. I didn't move. He told me to get up. I got up out the bed or whatever. I got down. He told me to get down on the ground. I got down on the ground, and he had the long, he had an AR in his hand or whatever, and it was held against my back. He was like, I'm gonna help you up or whatever. He helped me up, and another officer helped me up, and then guided me to the chair for me to sit down. And then the lady came in and talked to me or whatever, but they didn't. She said he said that the drugs that they found, which I said, what drugs? I don't know nothing about no drugs. She was like, the drugs that they found, he said that those was your drugs. She said, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud? So I'm like, what drugs? Look, I don't have nothing to do. Whatever it is that was in that dang room, whatever it is the child dang found, it was his. It ain't have nothing to do with me. He out there saying that it was mine. Do you hear me, y'all? This person sat up there and said that the drugs was mine. My escape plan, when that person told me that he wanted to talk to me one last time, I said, okay. So I went over to talk to him one last time or whatever. He told me, he said, I'm turning myself in the next day. Cool. I supposed to have been out of there before the warning came, because the lady Sherry or whatever, she put in the code to alert the police that my kid's father was at her home or whatever. So I already knew they was gonna be there in the morning. So but he told me that he was gonna turn himself in, and I was supposed to take him to turn himself in like the next day, and then I supposed to been gone on by my business. I had my book bag, I had my clothes inside the book bag, I had my little Bible scriptures and everything inside of the book bag. I had everything inside of the book bag to be gone. As soon as he get behind the dang on bars, I was gonna be gone. But this person, so they came into the house and stuff like that, and asked where he was and all that stuff like that when they set me in the chair. And I told him, I said he ran in the bathroom or whatever. He closed himself in the bathroom or whatever, because he was asking Miss Sherry or whatever, is there a back door? Can he get out the back door? He ran to the back door or whatever, and the marshals had surrounded the house. They surrounded the whole dang on house. They surrounded the whole dang on house or whatever, so he couldn't get out no dang on well, because he known for running. You want to commit crimes, but you don't want to face whatever consequences you have behind your dang on actions. And it was for a PFA. That's what it was for me, PFA. So because this person spread a false narrative and stuff like that, saying that I snitched on him about this, that, and the third. What are you talking about? You trying to put me in jail for no dang on reason. And I was going to send you to the jail, make sure you get into the dang on jail, and then I was going to be gone. That was my plan. That when he got behind dang on bars, I was going to be gone. I would have came back later and got my dang on mom and my children if they told me it was safe. But I was trying to go to somewhat safe to get away from that person, if y'all really want to know what happened. That person told them that the drugs was mine, and I ended up having to sit in there for like 2 months. And I still have my paper when it comes to that. Years later, and I kept on checking on the court date for years. They kept on telling me that I didn't have no court date. And the last time that I had went, it was real cold outside. It had been snowing. And they told us to stay in. I said, I'm finna go down here. If they ain't answering the dang on phone, I'm finna go down here. I'm finna risk it. I risked it, and I went down there to the jail or whatever. When I went down there, I went down there to the courthouse. When I went down there to the courthouse, I asked them people, I said, look, I had a court date, and I still haven't heard anything about the court date, and I don't want to miss it. She said, she gave me a piece of paper to let them know that I had been down there. She said, call this number. It was a number to the DA. I called the number to the DA, and when I called the number to the DA got back to me. I'll say like almost 3 weeks later. Almost 3 weeks later, I talked to the DA, and the DA said, congratulations, you can celebrate it because you exempt from this case. You are not on the case. You're on your behalf. The case is closed on your behalf. And I was like, okay, yes. And I was happy and stuff like that. And I went and got me a job. I was so dang on happy. And I went and got the paper. I gave the paper to my attorney at the time, which I had to detach myself from this attorney because this attorney was affiliated with my kid's father. I can't ever think of his name when I want to think of it. Um, Calvin Biggers. That was my attorney that I gave the letter to. I gave the letter to him because I needed proof. I need to have proof on file that they told me that, my case was closed on my behalf. Even the attorney told me that my case was closed. So if my case was not dang on closed, then why would they tell me something like this and have me thinking that my case is closed, and then later on I got a PFA out there, I get put in jail? Because that's what happened when I was in Penson. They put a whole PFA out on me. So when I called the police out, because these people, I guess it was the maintenance people, I don't know. But somebody, I don't know, it had to be the maintenance people. Ain't nobody tell me that it wasn't the maintenance people, because didn't nobody have no didn't nobody have no key to my door but the maintenance people, or somebody that was in the neighborhood that know how to pick locks real good. And I don't know how they was doing it because my screen was locked. I didn't hear it, but I probably couldn't hear it because I always had my headsets in my ear, because the neighbors used to be loud and stuff like that. They little funky behinds doing stuff. So I used to keep the headsets in my ear and have them turned up real loud so I can't hear nothing. Especially when they come in drunk and bouncing all on the wall and stuff like that, acting crazy, fighting each other and stuff. I just turn up my headsets so I can't hear they loud behind. But so they kept on unlocking my door in Penson. So I'm like, okay, I know I ain't tripping, because I know I get up, every morning, go and get my breakfast and stuff like that. But I open my door, whatever, fix my breakfast, eat my breakfast and stuff like that, drink my juice, and after I get finished with my breakfast and stuff, I do my exercise, or I do my exercise first, and then I eat, and then I sit down. So whenever I get up every morning, I go and check, the door and stuff like that. So one particular morning, I decided to get up. My door was unlocked. Before I lay down, or before I take my shower, because I always go and exercise or whatever, then I go and eat. Make sure my door is locked and all that stuff like that. My screen door, all of that stuff. Make sure everything is locked, both doors, the front and the back door. Make sure everything is locked. Because when I first moved into my apartment, I always check my windows. And the reason why I check my windows is because of the things that my kid's father used to do, and I want to make sure that my windows are the same and ain't nothing broken around my apartment. So if anything do get broken, I can report it, and I can't be reporting no lie. That's how I knew what was going on around in this apartment what I'm in now. So I called these people because I'll check my door or whatever, make sure it's locked, all that stuff like that, and I'll check it a second time or whatever, because I used to get up and play hit the ball to the wall and stuff like that just for exercises, but I don't do it anymore. But so I'll make sure my door is locked or whatever before I decide to get in the shower. Make sure my screen locked, make sure my door locked. Go to the front, make sure the screen locked, make sure the door locked, and then I go and take my shower. Get in the shower and stuff like that. When I get out the shower, I go and make sure my door is locked, make sure my screen door is locked, make sure the hard door is locked. Do the same thing for the front, and then I go in my bedroom and I go to sleep. When I wake up in the next morning, it's unlocked again. So somebody was trying to play with my mind, and make me go crazy or make me in fear, all that stuff like that. I wasn't worried about it, because if they would have come in, they would have got the work. They would have got the work done on their behind. I ain't have time for it. So I called the police out to my residence or whatever, and they ran my name and stuff like that, and I overheard them saying something about, failure to appear or to do this, do that, and all that stuff in order for me to get locked up. So the lady pulled me out of my apartment. I said, can I go in there and get me some socks to put on my feet and some shoes? No, you can't go back in your apartment. So I'm like, okay. So she pat me down and all that stuff like that. Nobody read me no rights or anything. Well, she did. She read me some rights while I was standing there. And I'm like, can you tell me what is it just for a trafficking charge in 2000 and she said 2023 or 2024, one of them. I'm like, 2024, 2023? What are you talking about? That case that I dang on had was all the way in 2017 or something like that. Like, are you sure? You cannot go back. And the officer, he knew when it's out of my apartment, looking in my apartment like they was looking for something. Looked through my apartment, then asked me, can he go in there looking, searching, doing anything? He just went in there and just went to look in the I said, okay, sir, so while you're looking in there, can you bring me my phone that's on the bed? Because I need my phone to call my grandmother and to possibly call the numbers that's inside of my phone or whatever. He grabbed it. He said, which one you want? And I told him which one of the phones that I wanted, and he got the phone for me and brought it out to me. I didn't have no coat on. I was cold. I didn't have no socks on my feet. I didn't have no shoes on my feet. I didn't have anything. But I was real cold, and they set me when they got me down to the jail or whatever. They set me in the room with other ladies or whatever. I asked them could they give me a blanket. They didn't give me no blanket or anything. I was real cold. When I said I was cold, I barely had anything on. They told me that I could not go back into my apartment, and I was just finna get into the shower or whatever, take my shower and go to bed, because I was just I was writing my Bible scriptures down right then and there. So I asked them, can I go in there and just put some socks and some shoes on? No, you cannot go back in your apartment. So I'm like, okay, cool. So they took me, because usually they would let you do that as long as they can follow you. But this man went into my apartment and was looking in my apartment as if I was a drug dealer or something. I had something inside of my apartment, but I didn't. So went down there, didn't have no blanket or anything. I asked him for a blanket. It was a long time before I could use the dang on phone. I was in there just shaking cold. And I called my grandma. When I called my grandma, I said, they got me in jail. She said, they got you in jail. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, it is for the case in 2017. The 2017 case. She was like, okay, I'm see if I could reach out to Bell and see what he can find out and see what he can do. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, grandma, only thing you have to do is just come to the court or whatever and sign my name or whatever, and so I can get out of here. Or if you can find somebody to sign me out, that'll be good too. So she was like, okay, I'll come down there and do this, that, and third and stuff like that. So I called the attorney, Calvin or whatever, and talked to Calvin or whatever. And I supposed to been got out at a certain time, and they was still playing with getting me out because I guess they wanted me to just stay in there for a little while. So when I got back home, I noticed that they placed a camera inside of my apartment or whatever to surveillance me or whatever. The camera got placed inside of my apartment, and when the maintenance man came in, I'll say like a week after that or 3 days after that, it was something like that, but it was quick. When the maintenance man came in there, one of the maintenance men messed with the smoke alarm or whatever, and that's how I found out that there was a camera on me. It fell in his hand. It was real heavy. It was attached to the smoke alarm. It fell in his hand, and he was like it was weird. He looked at me to try to see did I see it, but I acted like I didn't see it. I acted like I was watching TV, but I seen the camera fall in his hand. It was real heavy, just like my shower, But we ain't gonna talk about that. But just like I said, after that or whatever, I said I wasn't gonna call nobody, call the police out anymore unless they write up a report or something like that to my residence because I don't want that same situation to happen or whatever. And I felt like they was just doing something to protect me, but it wasn't that. But it is what it is. I wasn't gonna worry about it and stuff like that. But I'm just glad that that situation is over with and stuff like that. But anytime they make arrests and stuff like that, they make sure that that they make sure of a lot of things that ain't nobody don't have anything, all that stuff like that, which they're supposed to and all that stuff like that. But it's just something that stick with you. People think that you're a drug dealer and all that stuff like that, and that you done committed a dang on crime and they missed it and all that stuff like that. Look, I don't be on none of that stuff, man. It just was ridiculous to me how people just wanted my life to end up. It just didn't make no sense to me. But the verse of the day is John 13:16. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. Okay? Wash your feet is what we're going to be talking about when Jesus washed the feet of these sinners, because, and I know those some stinky dang on feet, I know those some dang on stinky feet that they were sinful, okay? At the end of the Passover meal, Jesus gets up, take off water, okay, and starts washing his disciples' feet. Everyone is silent. Aren't going to wash my feet, okay? So aren't you going to wash my feet? We feel why Peter was ashamed because Jesus did not want to wash Peter's feet. He didn't even wash his feet, okay? His ego. It shows that he is a low servant, okay? That's what it showed when Jesus decided to skip his feet to wash. It showed that he was a low servant. You know, it's not something a high, distinguished person would do. Okay, Jesus humbles himself. Okay, and looks forward to his ultimate act of humility, okay, on the cross. While washing the disciples' feet, God shows us that he's ready to give fully of himself so that we might belong to him. Jesus is washing away not just the dust of the road ahead, but the sin that binds us as we walk through this life. As Jesus washes his disciples' feet, Jesus washes us clean with his blood on the cross. This is God's ultimate act of self giving love. Jesus makes us an example to follow. John 13:15. He pushes us to put aside those things that stand between us and a life of humble service. Okay, the King of Kings takes on the role of the lowest of servants. We should put aside all interest and wash the feet of other sinners. Okay, take a moment and reflect on cross and consider the state of our hearts, and ask yourself the question: would I be willing to wash feet for the sake of my sinners? And I would, because that's what they used to do at some churches. You know, if you have already been baptized and stuff like that, they what they would do was just wash your feet. Because I had a pastor that washed me and my sister feet. Well, we had already been baptized before, so he said what they used to do to the people who have already feet have been, who already been dipped in the water. They don't take them through the same thing again. They just wash their feet. So they washed me and my sister's feet and stuff like that, and prayed over us and stuff like that, and we just got out the church. But it was okay though. Just like I said, sometimes we just gotta remain faithful, you know. And I guess they wanted to see what I was gonna do when I got out of that situation. When I got out of that situation, what disconnected me to from that person, which I was already disconnected from that person, was still. I never did go back or whatever or try to make anything right with that person or anything like that. Or look, I just left and just trusted God when it came to that situation. My son came and got me, picked me up from jail or whatever, and took me home or whatever. He took me home, and I just said I wasn't gonna call the police anymore or whatever. Whatever problems that come ahead, I'll just try to handle them the best way I know how. And the best way I knew how was to call, to reach out to the YWCA and see if they had a place for me so I can sit there until these people move me from that location to the location where I am now. I didn't have no help when it comes to anything, but the YWCA did help me get into a different location or whatever because of these unhinged demons. And every location that I move to, they move with me. They know where I live at, all of that stuff. That's why I sound we want to deal with certain things when it comes to court and all that stuff like that. If they ain't telling me that I can get my kids and I just detach and stuff like that, then I just rather leave it alone, because if it have to come with that chaos and conflict, I'd rather just leave it like it is, you know. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I just rather leave things like it is. But my next location won't nobody know where I'm at. That's the honest God truth. And don't nobody know when they ain't gonna leave either. I'm just tired of people. They doing too dang on much. They've been doing too much. I don't know why they ain't put these people in jail yet and set them down somewhere. Because look, y'all done took everything from me, and y'all still worrying about what I got going on or what's up ahead for me. It ain't your business. What's for me is not for you. It's for me. Don't you think I deserve to get everything that is to come to me because of everything that I have went through? And I haven't lost my mind yet? Well, these people do a lot, and I just don't understand why. Why they do so much. They don't even know why they do so much. They just be doing it just because won't nobody sit their behind down on the. But they finna sit them down. Look, I'm calling it. They finna sit down. They finna sit down somewhere. I'm calling it. I'm speaking it into existence because I'm tired of these people. I think the police and the judges and stuff like that will vouch for me and be tired of them too. I'm just saying. But this Lord have mercy, it just been, Lord, this road, this battle that I have been on with these people. I had to keep my head above the waters. Do you hear me? I'm talking about when I tell you they used everybody, even try to use my thing on kids to go against me, baby. When I tell you these people said everything everything but the right thing. That's why I ain't worried about, what's going on in people's lives. I don't even care. I might ask about you every now and then, but baby, look, I don't care. Whatever it is, you're gonna have to answer to your actions, okay? You're gonna have to suffer behind your consequences. You're gonna have to suffer behind them. They ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? Just like I said, I went through stuff that I ain't even supposed to go through, but I just felt like evidently I had to get dang on go through it if I went through it, right? So I went through it or whatever. I learned my lesson, and I decided to just leave everything behind and keep on going. And now that I decided to leave everything behind and I go back and forth with these people, all of a sudden, now they want to come and see what I got going on. They want to chase me now, see what I got going on and see what's up ahead of it. Look, it ain't you, baby. I'm gone. I've been through that code up. It don't mean that, just like I said, whatever the course decide, I'm just gonna walk on with my head down or whatever. But I would love to have my children, But my children can't be attached to nothing like that, karmic like that. If I gotta keep on going through karmic times, I'd rather just let it go. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. I just ready to let it go. Like, I just want to live my life happy. I just want to be happy again. And it seemed like I'd never be happy by being bound and connected to people like that and my family. I left everybody. Do you hear me? Everybody behind. When I tried and tried and tried and I kept falling on my behind, I said, well, there must be something that the Lord is trying to tell me something. My eyes is open, Lord. My eyes is open. I'm fighting so hard to do what it is that I need to do, that I feel like I'll be pleasing in your eyes, but I just keep on going through tower moments like it's the wrong thing to do. So that's how I started looking at it, like it was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do to get my mama. It was the wrong thing to do to get my kids or something. I didn't know. Shoot, if the judge telling me that no, what can I do? I can't beat the judge up, can't beat the bailiff up, I can't beat nobody dang on up. But myself, these are the things that I had to go through in private. Beat myself up. And I shouldn't have been beating myself up because it wasn't my fault. Because the people decided to take on things to go against me. It's okay. I'm not even worried about it. But I'm going to continue to tell my story, though. In hopes that it help other people, open people's eyes up. So what happened to them? I'm sorry if it did happen to you. But life is not fair. It's not easy either. Just because I make it look good doesn't mean that it was good. My life haven't ever been good. I have not ever went on a vacation a day in my life before. I can say I put myself on a vacation, but just by myself on a vacation, just enjoying myself. I always had my kids, I always had my mom, I always had my sisters, stuff like that. I always carried that load on my back in order for me to be happy because they was attached to my children. So with these people being attached to my kids, I had to take everybody just for me to be happy. If my kids was happy, I was happy, We all was not gonna happen, and I was okay with that, but it was just draining me. It was taking more out of me than I could realize, just because they was family. So I didn't really pay attention to it. So God said, let me sit you down for a minute. But anyway, I love y'all, and I want y'all to have a blessed rest of y'all day. See you guys. Oh yeah, thanks for the likes, comments, and subscribes. Continue to show up for God, and He will show up for you.